welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. The trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox. Sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., alongside Kaliko Yachts.
I mean, don't step off of a train and try to stretch your shoulder. You might fuck something up and be out of commission for a month.
Well, for people getting off trains, that's not a great thing. But for people that got on the Wrestling With train, it was a good week. We had Dashley Bones on Tuesday and Landon Hale on Wednesday. Two incredible, unique interviews. Definitely go check them out if you haven't already. And that brings us to this upcoming Monday. Yes, it's the ending of the month once again. And we were kicking it off with a big Monday interview. We have SOS, Sky, Olivia, and Storm. One per century personalities. We talk about that. Her mask, Hugs the Bear. A recent hardcore match she had that involved a song in a porta potty. Teaming with Angel Blue, friend of the show. And a hell of a lot more. You definitely want to check that one out. This upcoming Tuesday we have Chico Adams, an extraordinary personality because he's basically the Where's Waldo of WWE extras. He's always doing extra work for WWE. Whether it was the backstage segment with D-Generation X being one of the bunnies during a Bad Bunny entrance, a doctor, a referee. He's pretty much done it all. Besides that, he was trained by Alpha of the Wild Samoans. We talk about that. We talk about wrestling Bobby Fish, Steve Corino, the Boogeyman, and a hell of a lot more. And then on Wednesday, we have Jack Veneno Jr., adored generation wrestler. Great uncle was Jack Veneno Sr. We talk about wrestling in Sweden, wrestling in Finland, his grudge against Starbuck, his first proper rivalry with Ozzy Miller and the hardcore match they had, teaming with Marcus of Man, and almost getting stabbed by a Nazi. So you definitely want to go check that out as well. But don't take my word for it. Here's some clips now. And when I say the beginning, I mean the very beginning. And when I say the very beginning, I mean even before you started pro wrestling. Can you tell us about your Tough Enough video?
Oh my God, I can't believe you actually watched that. I realized that a lot of people, I didn't know if anybody really knew that happened. But you know what, I will happily talk about that. So that was when I got super, super into wrestling. At that point, I wanted to be a wrestler. Obviously, as most of us, we wanted to be wrestlers since we were kids, but I went away from that when a lot of the women's wrestling was just 2-3 minute matches, or they were like bras and panties and all that stuff, because I wasn't comfortable doing that stuff and I didn't feel like I fit that bill.
Experience. Unfortunately, the match, like I said, the match never aired, so I never have seen it. But I would love to see that match one day if it's out there somewhere. And no one can take away the fact that I wrestled in the ECW arena. That's something I can always live with. But what was really cool too was they also did the stretcher spot where they're lifting me in the air and Jacob does the moonsault while I'm on the stretcher. And so when they brought me to the back, one of the first people to meet me was Tommy Dreamer, just to check on me and make sure I was okay. So that was a really cool moment too, because we all know, Tommy Dreamer, without a doubt, is on the Mount Rushmore of ECW legends. And so it was a really special moment for me. And yeah, I'm just very blessed to have had that experience.
Fucking nice. I went out and was a big guy there. He was like maybe 7 feet, like 300 pounds. He was a big guy. He looked like a Big Show, but smaller, a little smaller. It was big guy, but it was like fat big. And he was looking at me, like staring at me at like 10 minutes while I was talking to other people. So I walked out to him. It was like 20 people at the bar, at the biker club who had a bar. And I walked up to him and I told him, "Thank you for being at the show. I'm sorry for saying that about your war veteran." And he told me straight up, he's like, "I'm a Nazi." And I told him like, "Oh, great for you. Nice." And he's like, "If you don't get out of the bar now, I'm going to stab you." And I was like, "Oh, shit."
Right. And then on February 4th, we have DTV, and on the 5th, we have Morgan Morrissey. Alright, I believe we're done putting ourselves over, and, it was not a great, not a great 2 weeks for wrestling, as, we are wrestling with the news, and a sad bit of wrestling news, and baseball news if you're a fan as well, is Bob Uecker, has unfortunately passed away. For anybody that doesn't know, Bob was part of WrestleMania 3 and I believe 4 as well. Just a really loud personality for the time when celebrities didn't really interact with the wrestlers as well as they do now. Kaliko, you have anything to say about Bob?
Yeah, I mean, most common people know him because he was the Milwaukee's Brewers baseball broadcaster. And the biggest gig that they probably know him for is his time during the Major League's movie series. He was the announcer there. So he's also known as Mr. Baseball. And that's why they gave him the break in WWE. He a celebrity figure who at the time when, if you ever seen the movie Major League, it was a real big hit, especially Charlie Sheen becoming one of those breakthrough stars, but everyone remembers the broadcaster as well. And he was able to catapult that into contributing in the wrestling world and making the Wrestling Hall of Fame. So, I mean, for wrestling fans, they know him as Andre the Giant choking the hell out of him, which is cool.
Right.
But this one, yeah, it's sad, but no death is a happy occasion. I'm just happy he was able to live a fulfilling life. So that's what I take away from this, is the fact that he was able to live that life and live that dream.
Oh, definitely. And of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to the friends of Bob and family of Bob. Right. Now, we missed last week's shows, and a lot of shit happened. I think most notably, everybody was talking about Corey Graves' absence from NXT. Basically wrote a whole tweet about that he wasn't famous enough to be on Raw, that he got bumped by Pat McAfee, and he was feeling pretty down about that. Wasn't on NXT that week. This past Tuesday he was on NXT. What are your thoughts on Corey Graves kind of sort of having a meltdown on Twitter?
I mean, I could see his point of view in the sense that, like, to him, I reckon this to like the whole full-time, part-time when it comes to like wrestlers, like a wrestler put in the time, the full-time, and then a part-timer come and take it away.
Right.
and he feels slighted. You know, he feels, and he has every right to feel slighted. He's been, holding down that fort. My only concern is you kind of knew this was a thing, so it's, what I mean. It's not like it came out of nowhere.
Right.
Um, that would be my only gripe about it. But he has every right to feel the way he feels, and he felt that WWE did him wrong, especially considering the fact that they probably wanted him to come back and do the show when McAfee was at what is it, the national championship. So I
And
mean,
Not Baron Corbin. Uh, Barrett got that. Wade Barrett got that spot.
Wade Barrett got that spot. So so I get it in that sense. And then he ended up back on NXT. So it's just weird. I think it was just like him being kind of frustrated, and it hit a boiling point. And I get it. You've been there, and you're pretty much like, I mean, most people kind of see him as like Bobby the Brain Heenan 2.0. Maybe not directly, but in some capacity, right? Um, so I get it. It's just, I get it. Cooler heads prevailed, and I guess he's back. So either we'll get the full explanation, or they'll just take it as a blip on the radar.
I and yes, I agree with. I can understand his frustration, but you've said this before. You don't necessarily publicize, your issues with the company in such, a public manner, and that's kind of what he did. Um, Low key, I kind of feel like if this was, another WWE regime, he would have probably gotten fired at this point.
Oh
Maybe,
yeah.
maybe Triple H is a little bit more understanding. Maybe he, you know, let him know. Maybe he put him in his place. We don't know, the full story of what happened. But it just kind of shows you, instead of, taking it on the chin gracefully, you know, he decided to go on a bit of a rant, which I don't think was is, the proper way of doing things. The
That-
hmm?
no, go ahead.
So, obviously things got settled, but I do kind of feel like he did get lucky that they may have just considered it an isolated incident. He's on NXT now. I don't necessarily see him leaving NXT, but after that, this could just be, you know, from I don't want to say getting put down to NXT as demotion at this point. I mean, you get to you get to be on Shawn Michaels. Where's the We Have the Cake program. So I mean, it's definitely not a demotion. But I could understand
Michael's Bakery.
Shawn Michaels Bakery. There you go. Um, so I mean, if I'm doing commentary, I probably would like to be in the first row for NXT more than I'd be Raw at this point. Maybe he doesn't feel that way. Clearly, he doesn't feel that way. But NXT is getting a little bit more attention. You know, from the media. He is still on TV, so he really didn't have that much to complain about. You know what I mean?
I get that. I just think of the fact that something had to have happened because Corey knew the role, and somebody pissed him off. Somebody said something to him to make him want to do that. Because I just don't see him popping that out the blue like that.
You're saying maybe somebody provoked him?
It had to been because this is. I think this is something that he knew. It ain't like this is new. Pat McAfee's been with WWE for how long?
A couple of years now, maybe 4 or 5.
Right. Right. So I mean, he was doing SmackDown. He did a couple of NXTs, and then when they did the swing, he would swing to Raw and swing back. I mean, it wasn't. You know what I mean?
And that begs the question: does he swing back after Pat takes a leave in what? July?
Yes.
You think after that outburst that they would trust him back on Raw or SmackDown?
They they would have to unless they're gonna get rid of uh I mean, he's gonna have to be there. They don't have the enough color commentators to go around. That's what keeps Corey there because he's basically he's top five color commentator in wrestling right now.
Watch them bring up Vic Joseph before they bring Corey Graves back on Raw.
But Vic Joseph's a broadcaster. You need a color commentator. Joseph Tessitore won't do good
Then
with
bring
Joseph.
bring Booker T. But Loki, I don't think
But Booker
Booker
T
T
is way
wants.
better in NXT. Yeah, he
Loki, I
wants
don't
to be
think
in
he
the
wants to
bakery.
leave. I think he's enjoying his best life in Shawn Michaels' bakery.
Bakery. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's doing good in the bakery.
yeah.
He's living his best life in the bakery.
He loves all
No
the
doubt.
stuff.
Yep. He gives an assortment of desserts.
Yep.
Chocolate cake, vanilla cake, chocolate,
Strawberry, lemon.
strawberry, lemon, conchas. He gets it off.
Um, Speaking of NXT, WWE inked a new multi-year crossover deal with TNA that will provide um, TNA wrestlers on NXT and NXT wrestlers on TNA. I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, but there wasn't necessarily a deal in place last year when Jordan Grace came to NXT. It was just kind of a handshake deal, right? This is like a proper, we're teaming up with TNA, right?
I mean, you could even go as far back as Mickey James, right? It was like a one-off, and it just like kind of. I guess it worked on both sides to the point they wanted to keep coming back, and then it just got to the point it was like, let's make it official.
Right. So I'm
But
not
and
wrong
it
with
works
saying
for
that.
both people.
So I'm definitely not wrong that this wasn't an official deal last year. This is now officially a thing.
Yeah, I mean it's official now, and it just helps them because now it's just like, okay, if we want to borrow, I don't know, Nick Nemeth for the Rumble, and if they want to get some NXT people like exposure with other veteran talent, at this point it's like an iron sharper iron. I mean, the fact that TNA is still there tells you everything.
And it's also having this deal kind of shuts out AEW, doesn't it? Because keep in mind, it wasn't that long ago TNA had a deal with AEW, and Kenny Omega was the TNA World Champion. And
But that was a one-sided. Oh my God, that was a one-sided ass deal.
but but I mean we'll be talking about it later. But you know, at first, when all of this happened, TNA was just like the Ring of Honor of pro wrestling. They were literally just happy to exist. Because if WWE wanted to use them, they used them. If AEW wanted them, sure. If New Japan wanted them, why not? Like they literally worked with everybody because nobody's seen TNA as a threat, and they wasn't. But now, after um, last Sunday, Genesis, they're starting to pop off again. They're starting to build a little bit of hype around them. Now, again, we'll be talking about that in a little bit. But when TNA is probably drawing bigger crowds than AEW at this point, um, it kind of shows you that TNA is actually serious about coming up and doing things again. No?
Uh, it's because they had a proper mix of growing people that are there with people who have been there with veterans who are not there just to get themselves over. Right. Because how many WWE people we've seen go over there and they just use it as a cash grab
Right.
rather than just like actually investing in the talent. So like the Hardys going over there, you knew that they weren't going to, smush talent there.
Right. But when WWE does have firings in April, they usually do have releases. Um, do you see them having a WWE saying, "Well, we're letting you go, but here's TNA. They might have a deal for you," or TNA will have a better picking of talent because of their relationship?
No, I think it's just going to be more collaborative. People who are normally not on NXT. I mean, people that are normally not on NXT are able to get exposure elsewhere. Kind of like when New Japan did the assignments.
Right.
I liken it to that.
Well, who would you like to see on WWE TV from TNA, and who would you like to see on TNA from WWE? Did I say the same
I
thing
mean, a Moose it'd be interesting to see Moose. Like a Moose Obafemi.
twice? Take my fucking money.
It'd be not, I mean, Rosemary was already working with Wendy Chu.
Right.
Jordan and Grace is out. Tessa, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting with Tessa and how they deal with Tessa.
Considering that they were chanting she's a racist at her at Genesis. So, I'm not sure if
I mean,
AEW
I talked to her. I can only go off my experience. She seemed nice.
Right, but once you're damned in some people's eyes. I don't. I mean, I don't think that TNA wants she's a racist to be chanted in their crowd. So if TNA is maybe looking at that, what is WWE gonna say about that if they consider putting her on their programming? You know what I mean?
Oh man, but true, but I mean that's just some of it you're going to deal with, right? They have their pick of the litter. I mean, I would say Tessa, but I mean that doesn't take away that she's a pretty good talent.
Oh, for sure. Do you think we're gonna see
Jo-
Joe Henry in
Josh Alexander would be a good one.
But he quit.
I know, quote unquote quit. Joe Hendry already had his time, but I'm thinking of people who Chris Bay.
Chris Bay would be good. I mean, it seems like they're teasing Marsha versus Cora Jade
I mean,
already.
yeah, that's
Um, low key, I'd like to see the Hardy Boys on Raw or SmackDown. If I'm being honest.
uh
I mean, it didn't say
yeah,
exclusively NXT, so I mean, it's not out of realm of possibilities if they say, hey, we'd like Jeff and Matt on Raw or SmackDown, that they're gonna say no. Especially considering
that
that they're
is.
tag team champions right now.
I mean, that is true. I, you can think of who else? An interesting little one is if they bring Eric Young, would they bring back Sanity?
Considering Nikki Cross's sister Abigail and Alexander Wolf is in um, WXW, I highly doubt that.
No, I'm talking about the Sanity version of Eric Young.
Mm. Was he the Sanity Foursome when he was his last run with WWE? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I mean, wouldn't he be violent by design, Eric Young?
he could be. I mean, a
I mean,
little start over.
if Asked by Elegance is coming, then they're not gonna call her Dana Brooke, right? But they low key did.
Well, I mean, when Shawn Spears came back to NXT, he was not Ty Dillinger. So yeah, I get you.
Right. So I mean, there's definitely a lot to be explored there. So hopefully, good shit comes out of it. Uh Maybe looking to do some good shit. For the first time in his career and maybe the last 6 years is a one Malakai Black. If you believe the rumor and innuendo, he is done with AEW, packing it up, leaving, no longer a part of the company. I I feel like
Well,
a lot of people are going to say, well, he's locked for to go back for WWE, and WWE has kind of shown interest in him. But considering where WWE is right now, with everything that they're doing, do they really need Malachi Black, Aleister Black?
I mean, they bring him back because his wife's there.
I mean, if that was the case, they would have brought back Keith Lee.
You mean Bearcat?
Yeah.
But Keith Lee is he still with AEW?
I mean, yeah, he is, but I don't know if
Yeah, so
he's
that's why they
medically
can't.
cleared to wrestle or they just haven't been using him. It's been very unclear.
Land of Misfit Toys.
I mean, he would have to swim to land to get to the land of misfit toys. He's like in
Jesus,
the ocean of
you say he in the
irrelevancy.
ocean. Oh God, no. I mean, touche. I mean, but I think Alistair would be a good hand, and I could see him being shit like a darker type character to get back in. I mean, did they really need Penta?
Um, I mean, why wouldn't you want Penta? If
The same reason you would want Black.
I mean, Penta is a very well-known luchador. I mean, even they said on WWE TV, if Rey Mysterio is the greatest known luchador, Penta's probably number 2.
No, that's bullshit. Come on.
Well, who would you say is number 2?
Wasn't it Sin Cara at one?
I mean, maybe at one point, but I don't remember seeing Sin Cara in on the independents before WWE. So
Alberto Del Rio?
not a luchador.
Andrade?
Oh, come on. Who actually thinks Andrade?
Santos Escobar?
Not a luchador.
They're Mexican. They are of that ilk, sir.
What I mean is a masked wrestler. Not a masked wrestler.
Rey Mysterio never always wrestled with a mask. What the hell are you talking?
That's what I'm saying. The luchador masked wrestler, Rey Mysterio. But
Ay, ay, ay.
I mean, if you don't have Rey Mysterio, well, I mean, obviously he's on the same show as Rey Mysterio right now, but I could see where, if you have Rey Mysterio on Raw, you could have Penta on SmackDown, get in, that demographic, get people, that are fans of that style, that personality, that it will bring them in. And for the people that don't know who he is, it attracts a brand new, crowd. Because if you're tired of Rey Mysterio, Penta's a brand new toy. You know what I mean?
I mean, the way they work in Rey Mysterio these last 3 weeks is like shit. They put him and Bailey to work, but can't be tired of them. Unless they're just setting up a Penta versus Rey match. But
And I mean, he's doing singles right now, but we kind of already know that he's going to be a part of the tag division when his brother comes in. And we all know that WWE is kind of starved for tag teams right now as well.
starved is the not the word that I would say.
Well, what word would you say?
They're in famine. They are famine right now.
Well,
But
I mean,
because that tag team, they need all the help they can get. You know?
back to Aleister Black. I feel like they have spooky characters already. They have the Wyatt Six.
Where have they been?
That is a good question. But
Yeah, exactly. On a milk carton. That's where they've been.
but I mean, if that's what they're doing, their top, spooky characters, what chance does Aleister have? And I mean, yeah, SmackDown's 3 hours now, but where does he fit? Where do you put him? Who do you put him with?
Well, he fits because he's a loner, a lone wolf. Aleister Black was not scary more than he was. He was just a guy that was well reserved and let his feet do the talking.
I mean, does he go back to that, or does he bring the version of Aleister Black that was AEW?
Oh, I think he would come back as Aleister Black.
Well, if he does come back,
Music.
In that
They need to bring his whole goddamn music back. They need to bring the whole shindig.
The Code Orange song.
They can't half-ass it. CFO, I don't know what they better do with CFO dollar sign. They better chalk that up and eat it and let that motherfucker.
Yeah. If he doesn't go to WWE, what does he do?
Chill at the crib playing Xbox.
Okay.
That's about it.
Well, I mean, you mentioned we talked briefly about him. Penta El Zero Miedo made his debut on WWE 2 weeks ago. Um, and man, it's definitely a stark difference between how WWE presents somebody and AEW presents somebody. I low-key forgot that Penta could sell. And he was selling that leg, and I was like, shit, is Penta really hurt? And I mean, obviously he was in there with one of the best workers that they have, Chad Gable. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, they really presented him as a star and a big deal right off the bat. Um, and again, and he actually spoke English in on TV. I didn't think that he could speak English for a while there, and or maybe Naba habla English in AEW because he didn't want to talk to those motherfuckers. But who knows? But I think that was a really successful debut in my book. What say you?
I mean, first they did it in Phoenix, Arizona.
San Jose.
Hint. Oh no, San Jose, California, rather.
Yeah.
San Jose, it was Bay. Sorry, San Jose, California. Hint. Heavy Mexican population, unlike debuting a Japanese wrestler in Bonefuck, Georgia. Funny when you debut someone in front of their people, the rave that it could happen. the who would have thunk? Oh yeah, have him debut in a land full of people who knows when he speaks Spanish, they know what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah. Who knew?
What a concept! What a goddamn concept! All in all, yeah, it was a great big. It hit it on the head, but that also tells you that
WWE
for those
knows
who
what
say
they're doing?
well, no, for those who say that WWE buries people, when they want to make a motherfucker look like a star, they'll make a motherfucker look like a star.
And I believe we've said this before, or I've said it before. WWE is petty enough to make somebody that was a forever mid-carder on AEW TV look like $1 billion on their main show.
You damn right they will.
I mean, look at Lexus King on fucking NXT. Like, he is rocking it right now. Like, did anybody think that he was going to be anything the way that they were booking him on AEW?
I mean, he scared the shit out of me. He was kind of lost in translation for a hot minute. I ain't gonna lie to you, but they kind of got the ship right.
Right. But what does that kind of tell AEW? I was gonna say action figures. Yeah, they're definitely Tony Khan's toys. But AEW stars that they're on the bench, they're in catering. They used to be big stars for that company, and now, somebody from AEW goes there, and they're presented in, maybe the best light that they've been in their entire career.
Well, I mean, but it's trade-offs, right? A lot of the people that are there because they value the freedoms that they have, because it's Wild Wild West. Who's going to tell them what to do,
Right.
or how to call their matches? So there's a bit of freedom there, and then the lack of a house show schedule helps out. It's just trade-offs. I mean, we've seen Ricochet go from AEW. He's been kind of killing it in AEW now since they hated his ass. They kind of He's been kind of on it, but yeah,
Um, I,
he's not good. Not on the mic, but everything else he's been kind of okay. So I mean, I gotta give him props where it's at.
so he
But
went from
back to
doing kind of okay in WWE to doing kind of okay in AEW. So he's gone not up, not down.
but the kind. I mean, usually he'd be the flavor of the month, and it flatlines. I mean, you
Yeah,
know.
true.
So considering that he's still afloat, it's a blessing. But back to Penta, it's just one of those things where it was just they made him look like $1 billion. I mean, everything, even the backstage stuff when he was like meeting with Penta and they had him actually talk about how, or meeting with Ray and talking about how he saw Ray and he would be there one day, and they gave him time on the mic. That tells you everything you need to know.
Oh yeah.
They wanted him to imprint the stamp because remember, uh, I can't remember who was the last debut you seen wrestle a match and then get on the mic and get that much time.
That is a very good question. I couldn't necessarily tell you.
Like, and that's what I'm trying. I was literally thinking that because usually they would get in and they would jump in, like interfere and talk, but not like actually go have a match, a 20 minute match, and then get a 10-minute damn monologue. So yeah, they're rolling it out for him.
How do you think guys like Ricky Starks feels about that? You know, obviously he's kind of in AEW prison right now.
I mean, the ocean,
He's
the
a
ocean
little
of
irrelevancy.
oh gosh, trying to swim to the island of relevancy. Look at
No,
us.
Island of Misfit Toys. They are
Oh god.
they are nowhere near the island of relevancy. The island of
So they're just
relevancy is in a different ocean.
so they're just floating like a boat on Gilligan's Island or something.
Yes,
But anyways, oh Lord, help
Gilligan.
us, Jesus. And the skipper to a millionaire and his wife, a movie star. I know.
Okay,
Let me stop.
we don't want to
Drug,
get serious.
drugs are kicking in. Anyways, in their medication, people, calm down. Anyway, that's what I should say. The meds are kicking in, not the drugs. But all in all, I mean, yeah, great start. I mean, when Chad Gable, who took the L, goes to Twitter and says, I felt alive, that tells you everything. It's like, damn. Like, and now he starts a feud with Penta, trying to get into the dark arts of luchador.
And that's gonna be
Just,
great shit.
this is gonna be some crazy shit. I can see that happening.
Who Dominic Mysterio knows that is a luchador that could teach him luchador ing. I don't know who that is,
Mm,
but it's probably going to be great shit.
someone said it was gonna be Aleister Black. I was like, what?
What? He's not a luchador.
That's what I
He
said.
isn't even Mexican.
That's my point.
Well,
But because of dark arts, quote unquote.
yeah. Um, well, Chad Gable might be feeling alive, but somebody that's not at this point is a one Britt Baker. It was reported, and if you do believe rumor and innuendo, whether you do or not, Tony Khan has had it uh, up to here with her. He's done with her. She's will be waiting out her contract and then released. Um, the locker room doesn't necessarily like her. She has not been a positive person in or out of the ring, and it's kind of finally biting her in the ass because she's in bad graces with Tony Khan now. Um, I don't know how much of this is true, but I mean, one of the first things Britt Baker said on the AEW backstage show was, "Yeah, I could be a bitch," and maybe it's art imitating life, maybe it's life imitating art. I don't know, but if people don't want to work with her, then it seems like, she's stuck in a rock and a hard place at this point. She's kind of in that Tessa Blanchard position, and she
Oh,
doesn't.
how dare you?
Well, I mean, that was a good point. There was a good uh, time span where um, Tessa was banished, essentially. She did not work the States in a very long time, maybe like 4 years. Um, and Britt Baker, I mean, she doesn't really have anything to grasp onto because she broke up with, Adam Cole. So at least, she doesn't have somebody to put in a good word for her either. So it just kind of seems like, I don't want to say this is the ending of Britt Baker, but it's definitely not looking good for Britt Baker right now, no? If this is actually true.
I mean, eh, depends. I mean, because I thought the whole thing with her is that the fact that um, she still has her dentistry, so she's still practicing.
Right.
So to me, I- she, how can I put it? How can I put this gently? She loves wrestling, but she doesn't need wrestling, if that makes sense.
No, 100%. I completely agree.
So, so I mean, to me, he, it's weird how she was like well, not even the cornerstone. She was the foundation of that damn women's division and how far she's fell. But then again, the injury didn't help. And then she probably was practicing while she was trying to get healed, So, I mean, and she says she's a bitch. Hey, first step is admission. At least she knows she's self-aware. I give her that. Self-awareness is key.
Well, I mean, she's self-aware, but it doesn't seem like she's doing anything to improve on it.
Bingo. Or it could be just her time to go. I mean, she's been there since the beginning.
The first female wrestler to be signed in AEW.
So at this point, I'm trying to think
I think she
who
was
has what.
maybe the third or fourth overall person to be signed to the company.
Right. So my thing is, other than her and Thunder Rosa, who else is still there that was like A1 day one female?
But Thunder Rosa wasn't day one.
No, I'm talking about like first generation AEW,
Well,
like
Nyla
the
Rose.
first Nyla Rose, but she's missing.
I think she's on the line of Misfit Toys, if I'm not mistaken.
That's my point. So like now this new wave is the Toni Storm, Mariah May, Sasha Banks, Mina,
the Alien Girl, Chris Statlander, Willow, Julia.
Willow, Statlander. hell, Rio ain't even there anymore. You see what I'm saying? So it's like
No,
a lot. You see what I'm saying? So it's like a new wave
she has
of
been in and
female
out
wrestlers.
Rio, but Sheeta has been the
Sheeta, Sheeta's been in and out. So that's my point. It's like, but I think a change of scenery would do good for Britt. The question is, I mean, TNA needs them bad. I think she would be a good fit there if she were to go.
I mean,
But to me, she's probably sitting somewhere in Florida practicing. Ain't worried about none of this shit. She'll let her contract play out. Because unlike most people, she actually has like a backup,
right.
a very lucrative backup at that.
I kind of feel like wrestling was kind of the backup. Wrestling was more of the hobby, and obviously the dentistry was the main.
Oh no, she ain't blading like that if it's just black backup.
Um, I really don't feel like this is, a, work problem. It's more of a work ethic problem. She clearly has an attitude problem. You know, Jamie, the most logical thing for her to do was have a program with Jamie Hayter, and they had a falling out, and Jamie didn't want to work with her. It's not about where she can go. Honestly, anybody would be lucky to have a Britt Baker because she is a big star. The problem is
hmm
finding somebody that wants to work with her because it seems like she's hard to work with.
But I think with her, the thing is though, is that she's a name that can get people over because the people who you're gonna work with, she could be that Bray Wyatt gatekeeper role. If they really wanted to,
I mean,
because ever since she came back, she worked with Sasha, and that's about it.
apparently, I don't know
Or
um,
Mercedes.
who we could check with this. She had a match where she dropped an L to Chris Statlander, and apparently that went up her ass the wrong way that she had to take an L to Statlander. But that's just what I heard. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not.
Mm, I mean, let's see. So far, she's had 5 matches in 2024, 4 wins and 1 loss.
Did you just Google that?
Yep. Come on, man.
Well,
We gotta be factual around here.
well, she definitely lost to Chris Statlander, and she lost to Mercedes. So
But that was like 2023 though. 2024, her last match beat Penelope Ford on Dynamite.
oh gee, Penelope Ford. When's the last time Penelope Ford won a match?
I mean, I'm just
I'm sure
saying.
you're going
I
to tell
mean,
me because you have it in front of you.
hey, 3rd November 2024.
2022,
But she
you
was on
said?
a two. But it ain't like, well, I say that to say that it wasn't like she had a 3 match losing streak. The Chris Statlander match was in 2023, so I could assume that was probably her working an injury.
No, I could have sworn it was recent. The Chris Statlander match, like a couple months ago, but I could be wrong.
No,
Like I said,
her last loss was to Mercedes Monet in London.
okay, so she hasn't been doing a whole lot.
Right, that's what I'm saying. When she came back, remember she came back and she had the whole "I'm the first bitch that's been here, bitch," and that didn't go well because Mercedes was like, "Well, I'm the bitch getting the money, bitch," and that. You know,
There was a lot of bitching.
a lot of bitches. Yeah, Too Short would have been proud.
WWE said that they might be interested in Britt Baker. Would Britt Baker do well in the WWE, or would she be a problem child?
She'll be a good veteran presence for the bakery that's going on down in NXT, but I digress. Shawn Michaels has been looking at, man. If you've seen the stuff, Shawn Michaels might have to get in the Hall of Fame again for this roster he put together. But but, but anywho, uh, yeah, I think she'll be a good veteran presence there. I wouldn't see why not.
We're going back to Raw. Um, we are week 3 in the Netflix era. Night 1 was a 1 3 hour show. Night Week 2 was 2.5 hours, and week 3 was 2 hours and 38 minutes. How do you feel about Raw going from, a 3 hour show to a 2.5 hour show?
It goes by, man, them 3 hour show. If it's 3 hours, them bitches flew by quick. I don't know, maybe because it's on 5 o'clock on our time. So we're just like,
Some
yes, we don't have to stay up till midnight to watch this shit.
some people felt like they got cheated out of the last half hour, is what I'm hearing.
Uh, But the thing is, you don't want to give away the farm because the thing is this, with all of this, they're rolling it into Saturday Night Main Event, which is rolling into the Rumble. So keep in mind, this was like the dog days of WWE years ago. Because years ago, we'd be like, God damn, bring the Rumble.
Right. Well, personally, I like that Raw was just 2.5 hours. I kind of feel like I'd rather have all cake and no, icing in that regard, where, it's no filler. Like, have this match, okay, I know that this is not a match I want to see, I'm going to speed it up. They're not just putting things on a show just to put it on a show. They are, they are
Things are there with meaning because it's telling the story.
right. Everything kind of has a meaning. If we need to use the 3 hours, we have that. We have that allowed it. But 2.5 hours is a sweet spot. I thought it worked better, in my opinion.
Well, here's the key. They're not, by being on Netflix, they don't have to pay for a block. And they're really not subject to time,
Right.
to be quite honest. Because some shows could go 3 hours, some shows could go over 3 hours,
Oh yeah.
and some can go under three. See, so time is not their constraint because USA, they used to have to fit things in a format
Right.
to make it fit the time
And we're kind of seeing
because
that
they
with
were
SmackDown
following
at
the
3 hours.
show right, and you see how it's kind of, I'm not gonna say it's rushed, but you could tell the creative freedoms between the two,
Definitely.
and because Raw goes off on Netflix, that's it. There's no Murder She Wrote to follow.
No Big Bang
To
Theory
follow.
lead-in.
Yeah, no Westminster Dog Show fucking it up. You know what I mean? So it that matters though.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I feel like Raw's living its best life at 2.5 hours. If there's a reason for it to be 3 hours or more, I'm sure there's going to be a good reason why it's that way, and not
Yeah,
just
like the go home show, the Rumble. I expect that to be 3 hours.
right. So, well, SmackDown. People were complaining, oh, Raw was only 2.5 hours. Why did they only give us 2.5 hours? And then SmackDown was 3 hours, and they were like, we're good with the 2.5 hours. That was a good solid 2.5 hours.
Well, the thing is 2.5 hours, and it didn't feel like a drag, a 2.5 hour drag.
Right. And I mean, and that first Raw, the first 45 minutes was CM Punk and Penta's debut. So I mean, you were getting a lot of bang for your buck, and then it ended with Damian Priest and Finn Balor. So again, and
Well, which one? The second one? That was the second one, right?
week two, and
Yeah,
then
week two.
week three was Seth and McIntyre,
Yeah.
and Penta was in there, and um, I mean there was definitely a lot of content on that show. Maybe not all quality content, but I digress.
I mean, Kevin Owens are going out there, and between him and Drew, they out there making sense. And it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's gaslighting Sammy now, which is pure and utter genius, if I'm being honest.
Hell, just Drew McIntyre gaslighting everybody.
Hey, Drew McIntyre is justified.
Yeah, he's justified in his gaslighting, I guess. Um, but yeah, it's just funny how it works. And it's just been a smooth ass 2 hours.
Well, we'll be talking. But let's go with this first. Scott Steiner, his son, has been signed by WWE, um, the NIL program. He was a quarterback or defensive lineman, or he did something football in college, and now WWE has signed Scott Steiner's son. I mean,
Yeah, don't say.
I feel like that's a good prospect for WWE, considering what they did with Braun. Um, it makes you wonder if this new Steiner is, a quality, wrestler. Could we see a Steiner brother esque tag team between him and Braun?
What would his name be? Backbreaker?
Well, Brawny Breaker,
Braun and Braun and Backbreaker.
and put Britt Baker with them. We have Braun, the Breaker, and the Baker.
Braun, the Breaker of the Baker.
I'm, I'm throwing shit at the wall at this point.
I mean, at that point, I would. Not too bad.
I feel like obviously that family is just kind of bred for pro wrestling, so it kind of makes sense. So, hopefully something comes out of it. What say you?
I mean, I think that was. I mean, it was leaked that was signed months ago. I remember Braun was like at a football game. Was like, yeah, they might be looking at him. And I'm like, yeah, that means they're looking at him. So it's nothing new to us, but it's just we'll see how he goes. Let him get through camp first.
Well, somebody that left the camp, PCO. Um, all the positivity coming out of TNA and WWE and their time together. Um, they kind of dropped the ball with their social media rights champion PCO. Um, they did not uh, re- um, they did not re-sign PCO, wanted him to drop the belt, failed to bring him to the shows to drop the title, and then PCO showed up at a GCW event with the title and smashed it, uh, which was not planned. Maybe a cool little, you know, non-kayfabe thing that happened, but have you seen this? Have you heard about this before, prior to me mentioning it?
I mean, I'm just glad he's still alive.
PCO never dies.
I'm dead ass. But anyways, no, I didn't know. I mean, I was wondering what happened to that title when I was watching TNA. I'm like, where's that Twitter, Instagram, what is it called? The TikTok
Digital
championship belt.
Media Championship, I want to say, but
Yeah, the TikTok title.
more or less, yeah.
That's what it should be called. I mean, that's what it should be called, the TikTok title. Yeah, so makes sense. So I guess they're gonna have knowing them, they're gonna follow NXT format and have a 4-man tournament for the for the TNA digital title.
Actually, no, that it did not happen. Um, I have no idea how this happened or why it happened or how this came to be, but Steph DeLandor was actually married to PCO in storyline. Apparently she divorced him and she got the title belt in the divorce. So she is now the digital media champion viva divorce alimony, I guess?
What?
Yes. That this is not a that's not a walk, that is a shoot. They said that she won the title in the divorce.
That is the wildest thing in the world.
I mean, kudos to them for getting such a creative way to get a belt off of somebody.
That is the most creative way.
And we didn't have to suffer through a 10-man or 4-man or 6-man or a man tournament.
Apparently, we just suffered through Judge Judy and divorce court.
Apparently so. But how do you feel about PCO? Obviously, he was frustrated with what, you know, TNA dropping the ball on him. Where do you see him going after this? Because at WWE, return doesn't seem likely at this point.
Nah. I mean, honestly, I think he's just gonna tour the indies and just be good with that, I would think. Because, I mean, 57, and it's not like he's gonna,
Right.
How can I put it? There are more days behind him than ahead of him as far as wrestling. Not saying that he can't do it. It's just that to be a prominent champion, I think he's just going to do it for the love of the game. But keep in mind, I mean, he was ROH champion. Give him one more crack at it. I don't think people wouldn't mind.
So throw him on the Isle of Misfit Toys?
I mean, in the ocean. One more trip to the island before he goes in the ocean.
Viking ceremony?
No, give him the Guardians of the Galaxy ceremony.
So we're blasting him off into space?
Yeah, the whole, was it the second movie?
Yeah.
When old buddy died, yeah, that one. Give him that $10.
Alright. Well, WWE being the um petty, I suppose. The next uh, Saturday night's main event will be take place on um. Well, I don't know what the specific date is, but it takes place the same day as All in Texas.
Today,
No, after this one in July when they're supposed to do All in Texas at the stadium. Yeah, WWE is doing their next All In their next Saturday night main event. So you have to choose whether or not you want to see WWE for $9.99 or however much Peacock is at this point. Or if you want to sell out $50 for AEW. Low-key, I kind of feel like this is petty beyond all belief on their part, considering that AEW is by all means struggling at this point. I mean, if you've seen their shows, if you've seen their crowds, it's pretty pathetic. I don't think they're kind of already drowning. WWE doesn't kind of need to put the hose in their mouth to watch them drown faster. You know what I mean?
uh, true. I mean, like I told you, they have their floor. It was the ceiling that was getting them. And it just boggles the head how that can be, but it is what it is. I mean, but like I say, all is fair in love and war, and it doesn't help that, they got the backing of Netflix money, and they're kind of on a roll with this thing.
Right.
They're on a roll.
And clearly, AEW isn't. So why would you kind of want to kick them while they're down?
It's because it's competition. That's why.
I mean, I guess.
If it's competition and you want to be the best, you're going to put your foot in their neck every chance you get. I mean, the same way every ex-WWE wrestler goes to AEW and says some shit about WWE. Clockwork.
It comes back around.
It's not even that it comes back around. It's just that, holy shit, the fact that stories matter. It's just, like, we keep going. I don't know. We've been harking that for like 3 years, I feel. Fucking stories matter. What good is the flip shit? Yeah. It don't matter if it doesn't have a reason why. But
and Tony doesn't get it.
It's not just Tony.
Who else?
That is not a Tony problem. That's more of that's a culture problem.
No, you're right about it, but I mean, Tony is supposed to be the guy to tell them you don't have to do that flip. Put this headlock on, and it will make it the same reaction. But he doesn't. He plays into that culture. You know what I mean?
True. Man, but all them ex-WWE motherfuckers, and they don't just... Okay, but alright.
Edge literally could have been paralyzed 7 years ago. He jumped off a fucking cage and broke his fucking leg. Like, how... Like, I mean, it's you're not gonna win. You're not gonna get psychology from that guy now. I mean, he's literally calling himself Cope.
Because he's trying to cope with the fact that he can't tell stories. Like, is that what it is?
I mean, why? Yeah. I mean, he's literally playing into the things that he could have helped extinguish.
But I think he wouldn't be a person that goes in there to rock the boat.
I mean, maybe. Well,
Because keep in mind, he may be an old guy, but he's a new person in that locker room. He's a rook in that locker room.
that's kind of sad if you think about it.
And not in a rook in the sense of like, he's a rook in the sense of culture.
Right.
That's about it.
Well, let's last.
Or,
Oh, what were you gonna say?
I mean, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Rook in the sense of culture and tenure in that locker room.
Well, last bit of news this week will be the original Titan Towers, WWE's headquarters from day one to maybe a couple years ago, has been rented. And it will be converted and changed into an apartment building. You heard me right. Titan Towers will be in an apartment building from now on. That's kind of
Is
fucking
this the
cool,
same?
right?
Is this the same Titan Towers where Vince was doing all the alleged stuff that he was doing
Yeah,
in his affidavit?
yeah, you're gonna want one of those blue lights in there. See everything that happened.
I mean, black light. You're going to need
Black light.
black strobe lights all in that bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna look like a rave in there. And
Shit.
this is the room that Vince McMahon defecated on a person. This suite will be extra.
This is the room where John Laurinaitis allegedly threw a threesome. Like, oh, God, help us.
This is the room where Bruce Pritchard and Pat Patterson did cocaine.
I know. Oh, gosh. It's like Coachella, Burning Man put together.
Okay, maybe that was a bad idea. But if it's going to be a WWE apartment building, that might actually be cool. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case.
What would be the name of the apartments if it was a wrestling themed?
The SmackDown Apartments.
Oh. That's lame.
I mean, it's SmackDown Hotel, SmackDown Apartments.
No. I mean, first that'd be like Wolfpack Ridge or some shit.
Raw Apartments?
Raw. No, Raw Residence.
Raw Residence, there you go.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Lord.
Yep.
What's another one? What's another? Since they're apartments, it'd be kind of like condos. I want to trying to think of something with the C.
Wonderland?
Vince McMahon's Wonderland. I'm done. We are done. We are done. Oh, my Jesus Christ. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of one with a C. Because I could see something like condominium, something condo. And
not intercontinental condominiums?
Oh gosh, I can't think of it. It's killing me. I can't think of it.
Well, I mean, I think that this might be a good idea to maybe make this a whole episode of booking the WWE apartments, like we've done Violence at the Vatican. We'll be doing the first Rio de Janeiro tournament. That might actually be something.
Oh yes, in Brazil. Yo, yes. Hell yeah. I mean,
Let's put that on the
shoot.
bracket.
We're gonna put that. Oh gosh, the Chris Benoit condominiums.
Oh God, no! Oh God, no! Just no! You have crossed the line, sir.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. I cannot. No,
And
I
with
did not mean. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I'm just saying. A CTE.
oh God, will you stop
Chair
it?
shot. Chair shot condominiums. There you go. There you go.
And with that, that will conclude our coverage of the news. And now a quick word.
Carlito condominiums.
They're definitely cool.
John Cena, CM Punk, CM condominiums. There you go.
Um, now a quick word from our sponsors. If they actually want to sponsor us after this.
Cena condominiums. See, all the C's that I couldn't.
So,
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low calorie, no sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0 calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off brands out there that are presenting low quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with TNA Genesis. It took place last Sunday. It was in A1 Garland, Texas, at the Curtis Colwell Center. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I did not know that there was a TNA Pete preview on last Sunday. Um, I don't follow TNA that closely to, kind of care about their paid previews, but there was so much on the line about what happened at the show. There was so much buzz. There was so much chatter about it. Just seeing that picture of the full house like I don't think AEW wrestlers knew that that the crowd could be fitted on the hard camera side. Um,
I mean, it helped that Open was there.
who was that?
Busted Open Radio.
True. So I mean, just from the chatter, I had to go back and I had to watch the show. And honestly, I was pretty pleasantly surprised. This was a solid paid preview for them. But what say you, Kaliko?
I mean, yeah, considering that this was the first pay-per-view where post TNA NXT merger. So it was just abound to see, like, it wasn't even a matter of what was going to happen with NXT. It was a matter of who was going to show up in NXT, from NXT.
Right.
Which to me, mad interesting, to say the least.
Well, let's get into it. Singles match for the TNA X Division Championship. Moose with Lisa Edwards and JDC defeated Ace Austin in 14 minutes and 45 seconds. Pretty good opener. If I had one complaint about it, it was maybe 4 minutes and 45 seconds too long. You didn't necessarily see Ace Austin as a threat to Moose, but I kind of felt like they had a solid match. Like I said, at the end I was just kind of like, okay, Moose, finish him off. But that was just me. What say you?
I mean, true. I mean, but keep in mind, Moose at one point was the champion, so the man.
Right.
Which is weird because they were like, oh yeah, you lost this belt, but take this X Division championship, which is, it's weird how they put like heavyweights in a cruiserweight division championship.
Yeah.
Like Moose is like a solid 280 out here running around with fucking Ace Austin. Like, you like one of these things is not like the other.
I mean, the X Division is about isn't about weight limits. It's about no limits.
Oh gosh, don't you dare. Oh Lord.
Hey, I mean, they probably crossed the line back.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if they bring that back, it's all good. But then again, I can't say nothing because Samoa Joe held that belt. So if this big ass held that belt, and not big as in fat, but just like stocky, I can't say shit about Moose.
I mean, Abyss held that title at one point.
Oh God, yes, he did. All 300 pounds of Joseph Parks.
Big meaty man.
But yeah, I mean, it kind of went the way you thought it was gonna go. I mean, Moose retaining.
Right.
Because I think they have something good with the kingdom. It's just a matter of, I mean, he had the belt, he lost the belt. Now this is like their way to keep them relevant in a way.
I would say so, yeah. The system or the factory, or I think it's the system.
Oh, the system. There you go. The system. The system. I know he has a throne that they keep fucking highlighting, which I like, I must admit. Nice looking chair. Need one for my office.
How many stars you give this one?
2, because you knew when they. The only reason I give it a 2 is because of the fact that when you saw them face to face across the ring, you like, ain't no way in hell.
We know how this is ending.
I mean, yeah.
It didn't necessarily deter me from it, so I would say I give it a 3. Solid opener. Alright. That brings us to the second match, which was Eric Young and Steve Macklin um taking the W on Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. This was pretty chaotic and all over the place. Um, just for the simple fact that it literally was kind of impromptu. It was scheduled, but they just decided to because Eddie Edwards and Myers interfered in the match prior with Moose. Young and Macklin came to help, and then the match just kind of impromptu started right after Moose and Austin ended. It was a little weird, but it did kind of make sense how they did it. So
Did it? Yeah. It was kind of like a continuation.
yeah,
And speaking of continuation, how dare you
Hmm?
not guess Meltzer's rating, sir? How dare you not guess Meltzer's rating?
you're telling me that Dave Meltzer actually watched this pay per view?
I mean, Dave Meltzer, yeah, he actually did. So
Okay,
it's
well
time for another episode. The first TNA version of Guess That Rating.
then I apologize to Uncle Dave. He's watching TNA. Bless his heart. Um okay, Ace Austin and Moose. 3 1/4?
Higher,
3.5.
higher,
4?
4.25.
4 1/4. Okay. Think that's a good gauge to kind of figure out how Dave is looking at these matches. Okay.
I know, cause this isn't Tokyo Dome, this
Right.
isn't Kenny Omega, and this isn't Will Ospreay or anything AEW. So it's gonna be really rough
Right.
for you.
I kind of have to tune in. I have to figure out how Dave views TNA. Um, but yeah, back to Young and Macklin. Okay match. I wouldn't necessarily say I liked the start of the match, just how it got started, but other than that, I was okay with it. Didn't last too long. So, what say you?
The same. I mean, although it's unique to see like one match in and the group jumps them and then the tag comes out and it starts the other match, but here we are.
It's definitely something you don't see on WWE TV.
I feel like it would. I feel like that was some shit they did in the mid-teens.
Maybe in the mid-teens, but not nowadays.
Yeah. They go out and like 4 people fight each other and they're like, you want to fight? You can have this match right now in the middle of like during the commercial break.
It's
Match
a
was made during the
tag team
commercial
match,
break.
player.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
hmm I give this 2.5. It didn't it was maybe a 2-star match, but considering that it didn't go too long and it just kind of hit the right sweet spot, that gives it the extra half a star.
Man, I gave it a 2 because I was trying to figure out what the hell they were fighting about.
Alright, Uncle Dave gave this 3.5?
Lower.
3.
Higher.
3 1/4.
3.25.
I was gonna start with 3 1/4, but whatever.
You just tiptoed around it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Right, we got Spitfire, Jody Dredd and Danny Luna defeating Ass by Elegance and Hetero by Elegance with the personal concierge. In 9 minutes and 35 seconds, they retained the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. Good match. I think the highlight of the match was Dana Brooke and Hetero Reckless coming out in what are they called? Dallas cheerleader outfits, even though they were the villains in the match. Um, I mean that didn't make much sense, but I mean I think it did what it was supposed to, and that was get Danny and Jody over. So
That's always the point. Spitfire.
right. But what say
Get
you?
spit. To me, it just didn't seem like Spitfire was gonna lose. Cause usually when someone's coming out and they got like the what's the word I'm looking for?
The gimmick on.
When the villains are coming out in the gimmick, it's like it ain't gonna look good. So the best thing about it was when the bell rang after the match.
How many stars you give this one?
2.
I agree with that too. Dave gave it 2.
2. There you go.
All right.
Look,
We're
look,
vibing with Dave's
look
also.
look at us. We're all in a Honda on one accord. Look at that. All in a Honda Accord. Anyways,
We got Tessa Blanchard defeating Jordan and Grace in 20 minutes and 15 seconds. Um, Low-key, I can barely identify Jordan Grace. Like she, like a whole completely different person. Um, Solid match. Did what it was supposed to do. Um, Tessa looked good. Jordan looked good. Um, Obviously, some big moments, some crashing, some high spots. Didn't necessarily like that they were chanting "she's a racist" to Tessa. Like, I mean, kind of give the girl a break. She's been um, what's the word? Not excursioned, exiled for the last 4 years. Um, but yeah, I thought it was a good match. What say you?
I mean, yeah, solid match. It brought the. I mean, even with them not liking Tessa, it kind of gave them a reason to cheer for
Do
to
they
cheer
need a
for
reason
Jordan.
do they need a reason to cheer for Jordan Ann? I mean, she's been there since like day one.
Yeah, I mean, but to me, I think personally, I don't know. Me personally, I've never had a bad experience with Tessa. So to me, I don't see the hate. It just, and this is coming from a black man. So I feel like I'm kind of going against everybody here. But it feels like the way I'm defending Tessa is like the way I'm defending Emma. That's how I feel. But to me, yes, still a solid match. It was a good welcome back match. The right person won as the other person was leaving,
Right.
and it gives her it gives the fans. It's kind of like when Baron Corbin beat Kurt Angle, and people couldn't stand his ass.
Right.
It's kind of the same feeling.
It gives them a reason to hate her that isn't the reason that they actually hate her.
Or
if that
it
makes
gives them a reason to hate her in compounding with the reason that they hate her. Either way, they're gonna hate her. It's just a matter
Right.
of why you hate her. It could be one, it could be the other, it could be both.
Pick a
But
card, any card.
you pick. It's your pick.
I mean, love or hate or whatever. I don't think anybody's ever said that Tessa wasn't a good hand in the ring.
I mean, it's weird the hate because this girl was probably the only girl to hold the TNA championship. So I'm like,
I mean, she's one of the only girls to win a men's championship.
a main world championship, like
and
the champion.
yeah, WWE, TNA, AEW, New Japan, all of them. She was the only one. So, I mean, that's not nothing.
Not nothing at all.
Right. So, I mean, maybe, and playing the devil's advocate here, maybe she had a bad attitude. Maybe she was a bit of a bully back in the day. You get you're the first ever woman to hold a men's world title. You know, you kind of get a swollen head about things. It happens. It's pro wrestling. I mean, being an asshole and being a racist are two very different things, no?
You can't have one without the other.
I mean, true, but
Technically,
I mean,
yeah.
they're not exclusive to each other. But
Hmm.
maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. But maybe she's actually a different person than she was back then. She's changed, and maybe she deserves a second chance. If she has, you know, if she is guilty of what they said. You know what I mean?
That is true. I mean, but it's just, But second chance, I mean, honestly, I expect her to embrace whatever the hell this is. Whatever hate that they give her, she's going to take it and run with it. So
I think that I find it hard to justify embracing being called a racist by the crowd. No.
I think she's just going to embrace the hate that it is. I don't think she's going to embrace what it is. She's just going to embrace it as
they're responding.
It's hate. Exactly.
How many stars
So,
do this?
Solid 4. Pretty good.
I'll give it a 4 as well. Good match. Ooh. Okay, so it was definitely a solid match. It was a good match. But there was also women in it. 3.5.
Higher.
4?
Higher.
4.5.
4.5.
Okay. Uncle Dave likes Jordan Grace, or I don't know.
Horseman lover. 4 horseman lover, I guess.
I guess.
I mean, that would be my guess.
Next match, Mike Santana defeated Josh Alexander in an I Quit match in 23 minutes and 15 seconds. I like the fact that this match didn't go balls to the wall right off the bat. They did kind of let things breathe before, they got, the toys involved per se.
Hmm.
Um, it they started off, traditional, slow paced match, and then they brought out toys, they got violent. It wasn't, AEW level violence, but it was enough violence that, you believed that the other person was actually in danger. Um, which,
You mean it wasn't like Swerve and the hell Swerve and Hangman in L.A. violent?
right. But, it didn't need to be that. The things that they did was, violent, but, it was also, you could say, ooh, that looked bad, but they were actually safe in the ring. You knew that they were
Reasonable, reasonable violence is what we call
reasonable violence, yes.
it. Like that hurts, but it wasn't too over the top.
Right. Nobody's getting hepatitis in this match.
Yeah, no one's gonna get hepatitis. There
Yeah,
we go.
good times. Um, right guy won in the right fashion. Um, Josh Alexander, it wasn't like a wrestling move. He put him in danger, enough danger for him to want to, you know, quit. Which, psychology wise, works for me. Um, Solid all around. What say you?
Yeah, I said the same thing. It 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 was solid. Not gonna. I mean, the follow what happened with Tessa and then with this, which was it's good. I mean, they had back to back bangers with it. So to me, the right guy, yeah, the right guy won. I mean, Josh Alexander, it's like it fits in the fact of it's like where is he trying to go from here? Because it's almost like he tried to be good, he got fucked by Moose. Then he's just going bad, and now he's Santana's getting his justice, and it's just he's trying to figure it out.
Right. And whether he actually quit or not, legitimately, has yet to be seen. It could just be a storyline, or we might be seeing him in the Rumble sooner rather than later.
Who knows? Might see him in the NXT Casino Royale. Da 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 da.
You think that Josh would go to AEW?
I mean, I said NXT, but
Oh, you said Casino Battle Royal.
oh, you said AEW.
But
Oh, no,
but
no, 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 no.
the Battle Royals, the casino ones, the Casino Variety Rumbles are AEW exclusives.
I don't see him going to the Casino Royal, whatever.
So we might see a North reunion in the bakery.
Yep, he's going to the bakery.
He knows,
Just another day at the bakery. Yeah.
because he knows the Muffin Man. That being Shawn
The,
Michaels.
who doesn't know the? Who does not know the Muffin Man?
Um, I give this 3.5.
I agree. 3.5. Reasonable violence.
Definitely. Uncle Dave, 4.25.
Uncle Dave, 4.25. You're gonna get to go higher than that, sir.
4.5.
4.5.
All right. Interesting. All right. That brings us to the World Tag Team Championship match. The Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, defeated the Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, in 14 minutes. Um, I mean, I don't feel like people are expecting, the Hardy Boys of the early 2000s. I do feel like the Rascals did kind of low key help them in this match, but I mean, it helps the Rascals to be in the ring with names like Matt and Jeff Hardy. So one hand washes the other in that regard. Um, there was some drama. Uh, Axiom and um, Brendan Fraser.
Praxium.
Axiom and Brendan Fraser came around and they watched the
Mm-hmm.
match. And yeah, craziness pursued, but it was craziness that made sense as well. What say you?
It's craziness and it makes sense because it was the blending of one of the couple of blendings of NXT and TNA that we saw throughout the night. And then, of course, we got the announcement of Praxium versus the Rascals for the NXT Tag Team Championships, which leads me to believe that they're going to get sacrificed because they just lost to two very past their prime Hardy Boys.
They're Hardy men. Maybe Hardy Grandpas. Hardy Grandpas?
So, you say what?
They're Hardy Grandpas?
The Hardy Grandpas. Oh. It'd be like the Hardy Papas.
The Hardy Papas. Okay, I can see it. Definitely not Hardy Boys anymore, for sure.
Yeah, they are not boy Hardy ARARP up in this.
How many stars do you give this one?
Hey. Even with the Hardys looking the way that they look, did you really think that they were ever going to lose the titles?
No.
There you go.
And what did you
I'd
say
be
about
2.5 to
not
3, maybe.
monopolizing earlier?
Well, that. I mean, it's the tag titles. I could see if it was like the TNA Championship. If Jeff Hardy was winning the TNA Championship, we would have problems.
I mean, it could still happen. He's still signed.
Very well can, unfortunately.
How many stars do you give this one?
Oh gosh, 2.5, because as much as the match was kind of interesting, you knew the Hardys wasn't gonna.
The Axiom thing was nice, and the Brendan Fraser thing was nice. It kind of made things, a bit more unpredictable. So I'll give it a 3. Then we have a Clockwork Orange House of Fun match for the TNA
Meltzer's ratings, sir. You keep.
My bad.
Guess that rating, my man.
I feel like you and Meltzer may be vibing on this one. 2.5.
He actually went higher than me.
3.25.
3.25.
Right.
Look at you. Kind of. I mean, you started off a little slow. You slowly gaining some traction.
I told you that the first one was just kind of gauging, kind of figuring things out. First time we did this with TNA, so you don't. It's not WWE and it's not AEW, so you kind of have to figure out
Yeah, yeah,
that has
you
to
gotta
be in.
fill it out. Fill out
Right.
the matches. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it.
Right. Clockwork Orange House of Fun match for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Masha Slamovich defeated Rosemary in 14 minutes and 5 seconds. I thought this was a good match. It had some really good moments. The return of the 2x4 with the spikes and the nails in it. Janice. Yes, her name was Janice.
Janice, yeah, Janice
Thumbtacks.
Abyss.
Mist. It definitely played into the name of House of Fun match. But I kind of feel like things just kind of ended abruptly. Like maybe there was maybe some more things that were supposed to happen, maybe time constraints, whatever. And it just kind of, okay, well this is the finish. That's it. Bye. Um, and then obviously Cora Jade came in, and that was nice. The bakery representing.
Of course.
What say you, Kaliko?
Reasonable. Can we say reasonable violence?
I feel like there was a little bit of unreasonableness with the violence.
So on the verge of reasonableness to unreasonableness, it was teetering unreasonableness.
A bit, yes. From my perspective,
Okay.
maybe you felt differently.
I mean, Rosemary that's her wheelhouse.
Right.
I mean, this woman wrestled pregnant. There's nothing above her, above or below her means. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
you got it, but
considering that, maybe it was reasonable for her standards. Maybe we could say that.
yeah. But then you can also, I mean, all of that, but I kind of knew. I mean, Masha just got the title.
Right.
So to me, I'm like, she ain't losing this match.
I mean, she won it in October. So I
Yeah.
feel like they want her to have a little bit longer of a run than, what, 3 months?
October. Yes. So, I mean, yeah.
I mean,
So it kind of took that out of it for me. With that being said, the goriness, all of that just for Cora, one of the we call her a concha, one of the conchas to come out from the bakery to challenge her afterwards, which is going to be interesting to see if Roxanne's going to help her out on that. But the other concha, and so it'll be interesting. But all in all, two. I
give the match 2 and 7 fives, 7/5.
Wow. 7.
But with Cora Jane coming in representing the bakery, it's a solid 4.
Yeah.
Oh. Now for Uncle Dave. 3.5?
Lower.
3.25.
3.25?
Okay.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, 3.25.
Oh, lower. Jesus Christ.
2.5?
Lower.
Damn, what is it?
2.25.
Wow. So Masha and Rosemary had um, the least favorable match from Uncle Dave on this card.
I mean, other than Ash by Elegance, they got a solid 2.
That's true. So they'll just Masha and Rosemary was a quarter better
A
as
quarter
the
better.
Nina Brooke.
Hey man, that quarter makes a difference.
A day late and a quarter short. That brings us to the main event, the last match, the thing everybody wanted to see. Joe Henry defeating Nick Nemeth to become the new TNA World Champion in 19 minutes and 10 seconds. Pretty good match. I mean, it was the main event, and sometimes the main event doesn't seem like it should be the last match, but this definitely felt like it should have gone on last. The crowd was into it. Um, I don't know what JBL is doing, but he's getting pops, and people seem to be responding
People
to it.
love him clotheslining motherfuckers. That's what.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever's going on with all of this, it seems to be working, and I kind of feel like you sort of did this at Bound for Glory 3 months ago.
Bingo. That's
Yeah, I feel like
if
they kind of missed the ball on that in that regard, but who says, "Oh, I want my backlash moment," the pay preview after WrestleMania. No, you want the Bound for Glory moment, and they watched that, which is I think believe we talked about it when it happened, a very TNA thing to do. I suppose that they wanted to kind of say, because this was a new era for them, that they're
there
issuing
you
in
go.
the new era with a new champion, and that is Joe Henry. So in that,
Genesis with a Genesis.
yeah. So in that regard, I saw where they were kind of going with it, but I still, he could have still have been champion when they came into that new era. It was only 3 months. It wasn't like it was that far off. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Everything you just said, I said the same thing. I'm like, he only won the title because it's Genesis, and they're trying to say it's a new era. Especially, it would only be fitting of a TNA to be like, we're going to start the genesis of our NXT deal with a Genesis. Yay. Like, what? So, yeah, that it is very TNA-ish to do. Maybe NXT will knock out some of the old habits from their end. Hopefully, with all due respect.
How many stars do you
But,
give
I
Penta?
mean, the right person won at least. The crowd was happy, so I guess TNA could say, hey, look, it doesn't matter because they liked it either way. You know what I'm saying? So, so it could have been, you know what I'm saying? It's like, why are we mad? The crowd loved it either way. But this match was if this was done in Bound for Glory, this easily could have been a 3, a 5, considering it was a Genesis and we kind of felt like, I don't know, to me it felt like this was like a now or never moment for him.
Right.
And that is where it's the right guy won, but you kind of knew he had to win. So that's where the 3 comes in for me.
I mean, again, this is TNA. He didn't have to win.
Well, he needed to win.
Yeah.
Like it was a must win. There you go. Not a have to win, but a must win.
And like for one of the first times ever, TNA did what the right thing.
Yeah, they understood the assignment.
Yeah. Shawn Michaels must have been in the back.
Booker T was in the back. That was like, I thought this was the bakery, man.
I saw Cora. It must have been the bakery. 3.5. It was the main event. It felt like the main event. It had some gaga. The right person won. Big pop. Maybe the wrong event, but it still did what it needed to do. Like you said, it could have been a 4 or even maybe a 5-star if it was at Bound for Glory, but I digress. It was the right move. It was the right way to end the night, I would say, for sure.
There you go. It was the right way to end the night. I agree with that.
Right. Uncle Dave gave it a 3/7 fifths.
God damn, you was on the money right there.
Damn, I got it.
Yeah, that was the number 375.
Sweet. I told you. Once I was on that first match, I was tuned in.
Look at him locked in.
All right. Honestly, I really enjoyed this show. There was nothing that was overly dramatic. There was nothing that offended me. TNA's presence was seen and felt, but it was only, cameos. They didn't necessarily rely on TNA, a no, NXT. They did not rely on NXT to get them to where they were or where they were at. You didn't buy a ticket thinking you were going to see Axiom and Cora Jade. That was on, them, on TNA's shoulder. And I mean, they delivered. I mean, you saw that crowd. That was a bigger crowd than AEW's been pulling in, the last maybe 6 months. And TNA pulled that crowd. It's the biggest crowd TNA's done in I don't know how long.
Jesus, God knows how long.
But, that's the thing about TNA. They have these events and they get people talking and they get a little bit of buzz around their name. And then between 3 to 6 months, they lose that momentum. And it just kind of drops off. I don't know if that's going to happen this time around. We've had this conversation maybe 15 times since the show started about TNA, that this could be the comeback. This could be when TNA, finally, stops being the little buddy of pro wrestling. But I think it's definitely the most solid they've looked out of all of the time that they've mounted a comeback. So I'll continue being cautiously optimistic about them, but we'll see in maybe 3 to 6 months if they could hold on to this momentum. What say you?
I mean, that's all you can be, is cautiously optimistic, because it's one of those things where it's like, we were like that when Josh Alexander won the title. We were like that when who else won that title? That was Austin Aries. Goddamn, AJ Styles. I mean, I could name people where we thought it was going to be a shift, and it never came.
Right.
So now it's like we're just gonna have to wait and see with you. And
yeah.
and that's okay. But the only reason I think it's gonna work is that I don't think they ever had anyone as wildly as popular as Joe Hendry won the title.
I would agree with that.
So that is a different calculation that they're working with.
It's a
So
new
now
variable.
it's just on to them to cap. Yeah, that's a huge variable because you can. I mean, Josh Alexander won the title, but he wasn't like, oh my God.
He didn't have a hit song behind him.
He didn't have a viral following behind him. Exactly. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Well, Joe Hendry already has said they already said his first defense is going to be Matt Cardona. So, and I think they already had the match, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll see how it goes with Joe.
The show as a whole, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
It was actually enjoyable, even though we gave all those horrible ratings. Because it was done because they had a good couple of solid matches with a couple of surprises. The bad matches were kind of mixed with surprises, so it kind of offsets. And I think they're only going to get better because now they're working with NXT talent, i.e. working with hopefully Shawn in the back telling them, hey kid, you need to do it this way. So they have nowhere to go but up from there.
So, thumbs up?
Thumbs up. Pretty enjoyable.
I give it a thumbs
Gotta
up
give it
as
to them.
well.
I will give TNA their due.
Me as well. See, we could rate a show that's non-WWE positively. Look at us being pro.
It's just the AEW you hate. Proactively.
Don't pretend like you're a lover of AEW idol, Kaliko.
We're not trying. No.
I mean, we all swerve when we drive, but do we squeeze with Orange Cassidy?
I was hoping Minoru Suzuki would have killed them 4 years ago, but that's a...
And my point exactly.
Real talk.
There's so much shit you have to shovel before you get to the diamonds.
Oh, yes.
That'll conclude our coverage of TNA Genesis. And we are wrestling with WWE Saturday Night's main event. It's later today. So this is a Saturday morning preview of Saturday Night's main event. This show is actually a lot shorter than usual. There's only 4 matches confirmed. I mean, let's get into it. We got Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. Who, for the women's
Rhea next. Yeah.
Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship.
Ooh. This is the only one that I've been iffy on all day.
Really?
I was like, yes, because I could easily see considering Gunther is going to beat the hell out of Jey Uso, I'm gonna go Sheamus with the upset.
I'm gonna go Braun. I don't see a reason why they would take the belt off Braun once again after they kind of had that little hiccup with him a couple of months ago with Jey Uso. So I don't see them doing that to him again. And I feel like low-key they would maybe make a bigger event if, Sheamus was to win the Intercontinental Championship.
Because he could win it at Saturday night and lose it at the Rumbles. Easy.
I mean, but what's that kind of tell you about Braun Breaker? He won the Intercontinental Championship 3 times, and it didn't even make up 6 months of time.
I know, hey bro, it's just how the cookie crumbles.
It's not a good look, if I'm being honest.
No one cares, man. No one cares.
I beg to differ. I mean, we're literally talking about it, so.
Braun losing, no one's gonna go, oh my god, they're burying Braun. I mean, they did that with Jay, but it was the right time for Jay. Jay just had to have the one, just to show that it can happen. Because we know he ain't beating Gunther.
Definitely
But there's,
on this night,
but there is that one shot.
I mean, we didn't think that he was gonna beat Braun a couple months ago on Raw, and yet he did.
Oh, I mean, no. I don't know about that.
Well,
Kind of yeeted in the new era.
this match definitely surprised me to be on the card, and that is Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu. Talk about meaty men slapping meat.
I've been flipping on that one too. Something tells me it should be Jacob, but it screams no contest.
Ooh, that would make a lot of sense. I agree with that. I was gonna go with Jacob, but double count out, I definitely feel more comfortable with that.
I wouldn't even go double count out. Like, they both knock each other the fuck out the match. Like, the match just gets stopped.
I feel like something like Braun and what is his name? Bronson Reed, where the match just stopped because they were killing each other.
Yeah, they just damn near died in the middle.
And that brings us to the main event, the last match, Gunther versus Jey Uso.
Gunther next.
There is no next. That was it.
Sorry, Yeet Master. It's 4 matches, and the reason that it's 4 matches because they're gonna spend like 45 minutes trying to hang a belt in abeyance.
Oh.
Because keep in mind they're doing the Cody Kevin Owens signing with the Shawn Micheals.
Okay.
San Antonio's favorite son, which San Antonio got from big old women.
And the world's favorite Muffin Man.
Yes, the best baker in NXT.
The best baker in the world.
Right now, yeah, he's the best baker in the world. Boys.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun as well. Kevin Owens has been on a roll since he's turned heel. The Canadian Dream, the son of a security technician or whatever.
Oh my God, that is so funny, and the fact that he gaslights everybody. Oh, Rey Mysterio, it would be an honor for me to face you at the Royal Rumble as the WWE champion. Sami Zayn, we've done everything except main event WrestleMania going against each other for the WWE title.
I mean, he wrestled Jimmy Uso in the Naomi sort. So, I mean, his level of pettiness
Of
knows no
pettiness.
bounds.
He wrestled Rey Mysterio in a Rey Mysterio Hall of Fame shirt. I'm just like, bro is top tier petty.
Oh, yeah.
Between him and not Sheamus, but Drew, I don't know who's the better troller of the year.
Drew is justified. Alright.
Yeah, Drew is justified.
I think this was our shortest preview of a show ever. So yeah, good on us for that.
You reckon? I mean, because it's kind of
cut and dry. Considering the last one was pretty cut and dry as well. I'm not expecting a lot of things to happen on the show.
It's also cut and dry because the Rumble is the week after.
Right.
Kinda. Can't say Jay's gonna win in that he's also in the Royal Rumble, man.
Right. Unless he wants to go for Cody.
Even if he wins, that disqualifies him from the Rumble.
I mean, then disqualified Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar lost the title.
No, Brock entered the Royal Rumble as champion. 2020.
No, he did not.
2020.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did enter as champion. You are right. I'm thinking Lashley.
Yeah. Right.
When he won the bench.
Yeah. No, Drew drew him over.
Yeah, Drew threw him over. Yeah.
When he was less justified.
No, justified still the same. Just a good guy justified.
I mean, he really didn't have anything to be justified on. I mean, nobody was questioning him at that point. I mean, there was nobody really to question him. There was nobody in the crowd. But that's a completely different story.
No, he eliminated him when Kobe died. That was the day Kobe died.
Oh, that's right. I don't think anybody blames Drew McIntyre for Kobe dying.
I mean, McIntyre might blame us for Kobe dying. Who knows?
He might blame
Yeah.
CM Punk, and CM Punk wasn't even there.
I know. It's your fault the Cody died.
And with that, we shall conclude our coverage of Saturday night's main event and this episode as a whole. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Monday as we interview SOS. Tuesday, Chico Adams, and Wednesday, Jack Veneno Jr. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Reddit, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Kaliko?
I am Kaliko. As we get ready for Rumble season. Oh.
Yeah, next week.
And get ready to give your kidney for WrestleMania tickets.
Yeah. Definitely a big episode next week. Rumble predictions. For Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
What about CM Punk Condos? I think that would be a good name.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.